Lisa.
How are you?
Good. What's up?
I'm in Pittsburgh at my parents' house.
Oh, you are. Oh, so nice.
Yeah, I got here on Saturday. So
Oh, okay. Looks
how have you
good.
how have you been?
All right, okay. A little. Oh, Lisa, by the way along. So, listen, I'm going to. I was just
We're
asked.
being recorded, you know.
Yeah, it's okay. But I want to ask you. So, well, so I've been asked to teach a math after-school program, math. That actually Tessie completed. It's called Russian School of Mathematics. Like to teach a math class online.
Where?
It's this is the headquarters are in near Boston, Newton, Massachusetts.
Oh, Newton, Massachusetts. Yeah.
Right, but they have like 61 centers around the country.
Yeah.
So anyway, just really now the paperwork. Can I list you as my reference?
Yes, absolutely. For sure. I would love to do that.
Yeah. Okay. Because it's actually for fifth grade, fifth grade math. So.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Okay, good. I will do that.
I'm happy
I don't know if they're going to call or not, but I was thinking actually now, like, oh, this is a good, you're a good person to say about that particular skill.
I'm happy to do that. That'd be great.
Okay.
I'll be your reference. Why'd you ask me? Don't ask me. Chopped liver, huh?
Okay, right. Okay, fine. I need three.
No.
Okay.
No. I think Lisa carries way more clout than me.
Yeah, I kind of thought she is from that middle school kind of area.
Middle school area, yes. Hi, everyone.
Hey, everybody. I like your new background there, Lisa.
I'm in Pittsburgh at my parents' house.
Ah, that's right. I forgot you were going. Yeah.
Yeah. Coming to you live from the Steel City.
Yeah, baby. Tough town.
Scott,
Oh,
you're muted.
you're muted.
Scott, how are you?
It has been a long time since I've used Zoom. Hi, how is everyone?
Has it? You having a little break from Zoom?
I had a little break from Zoom and therefore forgot all about the mute button. It's amazing what happens when you like interact with people in person.
Yes, isn't it though?
Kind of nice.
So everything is for in person for the fall, right?
What's that? Yes, everything. There's absolutely, as far as I know, no chance that it's going to be otherwise.
Well, I don't know. The cases are up.
They are, but they're not so much in our area.
Yeah.
Litchfield, I think. We have so much data about the lack of transmission in schools that I think that they're pretty set. At least that's what they've been telling us. And tomorrow on the meeting, I mean, I'll talk about this again when I do my report, but tomorrow in the meeting, they're not ready to talk about specifics about reopening yet. It's going to be mostly the questions about PCR testing because everybody's on vacation. That was the email I got today. Everybody's on vacation, so we don't, this is what's going to be the topic of the meeting tomorrow.
So they're gonna let us know basically later.
But yeah,
this is what you'll be doing tomorrow. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Get ready. Wow.
Yeah. So University of Connecticut also, we are all in person. I don't know.
Yeah.
And the students are required to be vaccinated.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, on the CDC page, it seemed like Litchfield right now, at least, is the only one in Connecticut that's not in orange. We're still in yellow.
Yeah.
So, that was I didn't look today, so I don't know what's changed, but.
He's on a meeting, my friend. So what if let me try going.
All right, hey Keith, how are you, buddy? Hey Jackie. How are you? I'm good.
Hi.
I get it in a minute. Barrett said he might not make it, right? Sue? Yeah. That was the last I heard. Or he might pop in at some point.
He just started a new job today.
Oh,
so
it was just, yeah.
I'm sure he's occupied with that.
Barrett started a new job? What is the job?
He didn't tell me.
I forgot. I forgot because we had a long discussion about it. It's another not-for-profit situation, but it's not it doesn't require the traveling that he was doing, you know, international. Yeah. It was great too. And I don't know why I'm blanking on it.
That's
anyway,
cool.
it was like right up his alley. I was like, wow, that's like perfect for you. So he's excited about it. But yeah, a lot of changes that, and I think he's actually gonna drive an ambulance at some point, Jackie, correct? Yeah. So he's.
Hey, Jackie, I want to get the train. Remember, I want to drive the ambulance. I already volunteered for that. When is the training?
They'll take you.
Barrett was already in one, before like the COVID stuff. So because his wife's on our board, but we are opening it now, so we can get. I'll get you the info.
Yes. Because I'm so close. I really it's walking to like 2 houses. I want to.
All right.
I want to help.
All right. I'll get you the info.
Yes, great. Okay.
All right, so it's 5:31. I'll call us to order because I'd love it if we could handle our business today. Hi, Jill. How are you? So I will call the Salisbury Board of Education to order at 5:31 p.m. on this lovely August afternoon. First order of business is a recognition of those that contribute to Salisbury Central for September. And me and the adults I talked. Why is there an echo? It came up blank, but we have some very specific ideas for October. I won't mention them right now, Mr. Moon, but we came kind of blank for September, so I don't know if anybody had anything that jumped it to the top of their list. I'm welcome to hold off till October too, but if somebody has somebody in mind or some people in mind, I would entertain a candidate. Hearing none, we'll move on, and I'll give you my ideas for October in September. Next item on the agenda is approval of our minutes from our previous meeting of June 21st. Do I have a motion to approve those minutes as submitted? Thank you, Natalia. Do I have a second? Thank you, Kevin. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of approving the minutes of our June 21st regular meeting as submitted, say aye. Thank you, Keith. Thank you. Jackie, you're off screen, but is that aye? Okay, aye. Next item is our financial report. Ms. Bucieri.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
So I feel like I sent you a lot of papers with a lot of numbers on them. We're obviously past the end of the fiscal year. Joe Cleveland and I are going to meet first thing tomorrow morning to finalize, hopefully reconcile the Board of Ed account so we can have a firm number. Right now, you can see on the summary page of the budget summary, it looks like right now our budget surplus is just a little over $60,000. That could possibly fluctuate depending on what happens with the lunch fund. Joe and I are going to reconcile the lunch fund also. And then, as you might remember, traditionally the lunch fund reimburses the Board of Ed for the cafeteria manager salary and possibly the cafeteria assistant salary. So we kind of have to see where the lunch fund is, make sure we have the allowable amount in the lunch fund going forward to next year, and then we'll make a reimbursement to the Board of Ed. And I think if my numbers are correct, that could be as much as $30,000 or $32,000. So that number of 60,504 that you see on the summaries front page could be as high as 90,000 or 92,000. We just have to finish with the numbers before I can tell you for sure at the September meeting what the number's going to be. The other thing I provided, just because I thought the information was interesting, was the supportive details of the budget summary. And I just I wanted to see the lines of the budget that were over and my theory was correct. I assumed that most, if not all of them, would be COVID related. And as you can see on that supportive detail sheet, all but one of the lines is overdue to COVID expenses. The only one that isn't is the upper building repairs line, which has a tendency to be over every year anyway. So the total at the bottom, the money that we spent above what we had budgeted to spend on those items came to $221,000. And you can kind of see in the notes column why those numbers came out the way that they did. I think it's, it's kind of interesting just to look and see. A lot of the expense was in the salaries portion and in the supplies portion, which right at the beginning of the year, we talked about those were going to be the areas of the budget that were going to really be stretched by the COVID expenses. And that proved to be correct. The other sheet that I included was a capital reserve update. I haven't given you one of those in a while because frankly, there hasn't been a lot of activity with the capital reserve account. The projects have been kind of, on hold while we've been dealing with all of the COVID issues. In 2021, we did have $198,000 worth of expenses. And the projected starting balance for that fund is going to be at least $219,755. Again, when Joe and I figure out what the actual budget surplus is, which I think will be between 60 and 90,000, we'll be able to add that in as well. So, at a minimum, the funds that will be available will be about $300,000. And once Joe and I firm up those numbers in September, I'll give you another capital update with the actual numbers in there, so you'll know exactly what is in that account to work with.
Great.
So are there any questions about any of those sheets of information? I'm not giving you a budget summary for 21-22 yet. There really hasn't been a whole lot of activity. We've been paying for supplies and some technology contracts to get us started, but I'll definitely give you a report on that in September, so you can see where we are starting the school year.
Great. Any questions for Sue? I thought that sheet explaining the overages is great, Sue.
Good, thanks.
Makes me feel better about us being over, for sure.
Yeah, and just so you know, I shared that with the Board of Finance also, just
Okay.
so they could have a look to see where all the money went, so.
Yeah. Great. Any other questions or comments about our budget summary? Hearing none, thank you very much, Sue. Next item is written communication to the Board of Ed. I don't believe we have any except for the request that we'll be dealing with later. Sue, is that correct?
Correct. Yeah, correct.
Okay. Any public comment on agenda items this evening? Hearing none. Regional School and Board of Ed Communication Committee reports. Stacy, are you there? Is that you?
I am on the phone because the password wouldn't take. What else is new?
All right.
All right. I don't have anything to report yet. We are having a BOE meeting shortly, and afterwards I will probably have something to report at that point.
September. Okay, great. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us. Building and Grounds Committee update. Does anyone have any questions for Stacy before we move on? No, hearing none.
I have a comment for Stacy.
Yeah.
Stacy, it was great to see all the awards in the newspaper, the scholarships and things like that. That was great. And I was really appreciative that appeared, because we've been doing that for a lot of years. And it's great to see. Thank you.
thank you for noticing, and I appreciate that. And it's always a pleasure when you can give kids some money. It really is, especially when they're going to use it in a very constructive way. But thank you, and I appreciate that, David. I really do.
Great. Yeah, it was a great full page. Building and Grounds Committee update. I don't really have much. We're doing some tree work. There's a big dead tree in the middle of the lawn, just below the lower building turnaround that we have to get rid of, and we're doing a bunch of other kind of tree work, either trimming or inoculating trees against the emerald ash borer. And we are going to have to start planning because there's some trees that we're going to lose, you know, and they're rather substantial. So we have to start kind of coming up with a plan, and I'm going to meet with our tree warden at a certain point, and maybe our first selectman if he has time, just to kind of talk about how to refurbish the campus trees and maintain what we have and kind of refurbish what we're losing moving forward. But have a tree plan in place at least. Nothing else that I can think of that we need to report. Any questions about Building and Grounds? Hearing none. ABC committee update. We're kind of taking the summer off, so I don't really have anything else to report. We heard back in our individual board evaluations of our superintendent. They were all glowing reports. They have not been formally handed over to Ms. Carter yet, but will be hopefully when she gets back from Pittsburgh. And that's it. We're just kind of waiting for fall to roll around. Middle school sports is right now planning to go ahead. We're not quite sure what it's going to look like, depending on, you know, what kind of restrictions there'll be, but we're hoping that we are going to be able to run some middle school athletics and activities this fall. And you know, start to wrap our heads around what basketball is going to look like, which is the big gorilla. Any questions about ABC? Hearing none. Moving on to non-certified contract negotiations update. The update is that we still have no ratification on their part. It's literally coming down to the wordsmithing of one job description that's contained within it, and it's just this one's either we've been away on vacation or they've been away on vacation, or they haven't been able to get together and look at it. So at some point, Sue's already got the numbers kind of lined up as far as the shifts, and there's no actual contention over anything except literally how many hours a certain individual is expected to work, under which they kind of have a dual job. So under which heading do they do this and which heading do they do that? So I think we've actually got it sorted out. It just hasn't been typed up and ratified by the membership yet. So I can't ask you to ratify it. So it will come back probably just in September, I would think, unless we have the need to have a special meeting to certify it. Yeah. Any questions about that? No. So now we have our two employment agreements, first with our board clerk. And Sue, do you want to just give us the overview of both agreements and how it moved? We basically moved everybody's compensation in line with the agreements that we've reached with both of the unions. But
yeah, traditionally what happens is every time the non-certified union negotiates a new contract, we take, or I should say Sam takes the contract for the board clerk and the nurse and updates them to match and mirror the non-certified contract. So if they get an extra holiday or whatever their insurance premium cost share percentage is, and also whatever their hourly wage increase percentage is, he just plugs that into our standalone contracts and produces new contracts for us. And so there's not a lot of kind of discussion. It's just kind of understood that it follows along with the non-certified contract changes. So that's what you see in front of you. The thing that's holding up the non-cert contract right now that David was talking about does not have any impact on these two positions. So, you know, there's nothing in these two contracts that is still being discussed between the union and their
Business
members. So the fact that we don't have the non-cert contract shouldn't impact whether or not you approve these contracts, I guess is what I'm saying.
So I would certainly entertain a motion to approve the employment agreement between the Board of Ed and Ms. Subuccieri.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor of approving the employment agreement between the Salisbury Board of Education and Ms. Subuccieri, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining? Thank you very much. And likewise, I would certainly entertain a motion to approve the employment agreement between Salisbury BOE and Ms. Mary Cadman, our school nurse. Thank you, Natalia. Do I have a second? Thank you, Jackie. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the employment agreement between Ms. Mary Cadman and the Salisbury BOE, say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstaining? Thank you very much. I do not have we have a staff non-resident attendance request for the 21-22 school year. I don't have a copy of the request, Sue.
Do you want me to email it to you, or I can read
Yeah.
it?
Oh, you could read it. Yeah. I just wanted to have it read into record and then we could discuss it quickly.
Okay. So this is from Carrie Russo. Carrie was a paraprofessional in our school 2 years ago. And at that time, her son was given permission by you to attend kindergarten as a non-resident staff child. Her family decided last year because of COVID, to stay home and to keep Ryan home and have distance learning because of COVID. So she resigned from her position. And when Stephanie posted the openings for the paraprofessionals that we're going to need for this coming year, Carrie reapplied and was hired for one of those positions. So she is now asking for your permission for her son to attend school again at Salisbury Central. So she says, Ryan came to SCS for kindergarten in 2019-20. We enrolled him at our local district in Pine Plains for first grade due to COVID. He was a fully remote learner the entire year and did extremely well. If he were to come to SCS for 21-22, he would be rejoining his class that is now in second grade. Thank you for your consideration. Stephanie gave me some information and said that with Ryan included with 3 other new students that have been confirmed, the class sizes for second grade would be 18 and 17. During this past school year, the class sizes for those students as first graders were 17 and 16. So not a significant change in the size of the sections going from first grade to second grade.
And we do have extra support in those classrooms, right?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
it's not just a single teacher managing
Right.
that class size. There's support
Right.
within the classroom.
And,
So
and the second grade teachers are Sarah Freund, who was new last year, and Dina Conolog, who was hired to replace Karen Lundeen, retired.
So I would certainly entertain a motion to approve this request. And then we can have a discussion. Anyone? Thank you, Natalia. Do I have a second to approve this request? Thank you, Keith and/or Jackie. Keith, I give it to you. And any discussion or concerns?
Just a quick question.
Yep.
Is registration over with for school?
No,
starting in September?
but Patty, to the best of it, we had a long discussion about this at our agenda meeting, and Patty's got a pretty good handle on who's out there that's looking at coming. And I believe that he verified the interest that was shown previous to this week. In other words, she contacted the families that had already expressed interest in enrolling their kids in the fall to verify that they were interested, not necessarily to find new recruits, but this is one of our two sort of bumper crops of students. So the second grade and now what's becoming the fifth grade, correct? Or is it the fourth grade?
Fourth
The
grade.
going to fifth or the fourth grade?
No, going into fourth.
Right, going into the rising third graders.
Yeah.
So it's, we're right, we're right there, but we're not at the point yet, Dave, where we have confirmed, registrations that would have us say, oh, we need to expand to another section. We don't know what's going to happen in the fall. Good luck anybody finding real estate up here right now, but to move. But there's always the possibility in any of these grades that there'll be more.
Yeah, I mean, really, the registration never closes.
Yeah.
I mean, in past years, we've had families walk in the first day of school and want to register for school. And vice versa. We've had students that we thought were coming back not appear on the first day of school, and lo and behold, we find out that they've moved to Wisconsin. So it kind of works both ways, but.
Okay, thank you.
Any other concerns or questions?
In
Although, I'm sorry.
Jackie?
In general, it kind of seems that we are getting close to very high numbers in our district, and at least these two grades. I'm just saying we should be happy, I guess, right?
Yeah, those two. I mean, no, it's specifically, and it's been true of this fourth grade class, since the beginning of the class. For the most part, there was just large numbers. It was just, that's why I call it a bumper crop. I guess it's not polite to say, but just a lot of people that had kids that year. Like I remember we had 9/11 babies in New York. The year following, there was just a bunch of kids and big classes. So, all those in favor of approving the request for non-resident attendance, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining? Thank you very much. So now I assume we'll have COVID babies, right? We'll have a COVID crop of kids. I don't know. All right, some good things that come out of bad things, I guess. We move on to administrative reports. Stephanie's report is available for you to see. I don't know, is there anything that she wanted anybody to punch out? She didn't ask me to pump anything out. And we also have our superintendent's report. Ms. Carter.
Sorry, I had to unmute. I'm used to having two screens so that I have the meeting on one screen and my report on the other one. And I have only one screen because I'm in Pittsburgh here without my big screen. So
what do you call a Pittsburghian?
I don't know, a Pittsburghian, a Pittsburgher.
Oh, okay. I thought it was all right.
No, it's not a thing that I'm aware of.
Oh.
Anyway, hi everybody. It's great to see you. And as far as my report, probably the thing that everybody wants to know about, I'm sorry, I have no more information on. We've gotten no additional information about requirements for the opening of school. We keep being told it's going to appear every day, but I think that the variant has the epidemiologists trying to hedge their bets as close to the start of school as possible. And I also think the controversy over whether kids should come back with masks or not, if nothing else, they're probably trying to at least think about the nuances of the communication about that. So I looked, it's the first thing I look at every morning is to see if I have that information, and please be assured that I will put that together and get reopening finalized as quickly as possible. This morning, I did send out an announcement about a vaccination clinic that will take place on August 12th. It will happen at the high school. Both the Johnson & Johnson and Pfizer vaccinations will be available. It will be open to everybody at in the community, but we decided to have it in the high school. It will be in the high school gym to make it easily accessible to all families in the region. And that is free of charge from the Department of Public Health. And we thank them for that. I think it will be a good thing for anybody who is needing to be vaccinated just here at the beginning of school. The PCR screening is not something that we have definitely decided to do. There are some things we need to take into consideration. My understanding is that, excuse me, anybody that we partner with we'll be able to send staff in to actually do the nasal swabs for the students. However, and these will not be the deep nasal, but the lower nasal cavity, so they are not terribly uncomfortable. However, the things we need to think about is the anxiety that the weekly testing may cause in our younger students, and the association that they may come to have that with school, either about the testing or fear of getting COVID. And also how many families for various reasons may want to opt out of the testing. Because if we don't have a significant number of a majority, way over the majority of our students participating in the testing, then it doesn't really make sense for us to take the time to do it. The nurses and I met last week and talked about all of this. And we thought the most effective thing to do right now would be to survey the parents and take their temperature about these issues. And then if it comes back that we get a good response that people would really like us to go ahead with this, we'll give it a try. So that's where we are on the testing. It is a PCR test, so that would be dependable for screening asymptomatic students. Would not be a diagnostic test for those who are symptomatic, because we hope that the symptomatic students will be staying at home. For the rest of my report, curriculum and instruction, Jill and Scott have been doing a great job. And we've been working quite a bit together to talk about, how we'll support teachers this year in making sure that they are confident and feel that they are, well supported in terms of meeting students where they are and providing them with anything that they need in view of what may not have been learned last year, and incorporating that in what the learning expectations are for this year. The legislative update I have here is very brief. I got a much more comprehensive explanation of the legislation today, so I'll be going through that, and I'll be able to provide you with a much better update in September, and probably a better idea of how that specifically might impact Region 1. Probably the most significant thing on this list right now is for the educational cost sharing, and that will not necessarily impact Salisbury Central, because you do not receive that much ECS money when compared to the other school districts. I think that this will be the fact that school districts will be held harmless with respect to the reductions in ECS money that were planned for some districts in the next couple of years will be far more significant to North Canaan and possibly to Sharon. But I can tell you a little bit, I'll have some specific numbers about that next month. As far as the virtual learning, the sad thing about the virtual, I'm glad that they're studying it. The sad thing about the virtual learning is because they want to set aside time to really look at it and develop these standards, we will not be allowed to take advantage of remote learning for snow days again this year. And I think we kind of liked having that option last year. But that will not, not certainly for all of our snow days, but to, as we had several of them after, I think the third one, we could start to do remote learning. So we didn't go to school so far into June, but apparently, at least my understanding right now is that that's not going to be the case. And then for the last two things, the ARP ESSER, we're grinding away on those grants, and I'm attending some webinars to help us understand how to make sure they're far more demanding in terms of compliance. And so I just want to make sure we're doing all the right things there. And then finally, Sam and I will be meeting with all the selectmen in each town to talk about Region 1, HVRHS, Pupil Services, and RSSC in anticipation of our budget meetings to strengthen our relationships with the towns and also help the selectmen have a better understanding of how the budgets work and what's going on from that perspective. So that's my report, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Good, Dave.
Lisa, thank you very much. I just have 2 questions for you. Number one, on the August 12th vaccination at the high school, how are we getting the word out to that?
There was a flyer went out on School Messenger this morning. The principals also got emails that they are sending to the families in all of their schools. The town clerks and first selectmen got it in all of the towns, and they're putting it on all of their websites. So, and I think Ian's putting it on Instagram. So it's going out far and wide and as quickly as possible to everyone. And then Patrick Sullivan, Ruth Epstein, and Marshall Miles have the announcement as well.
Good, thank you. And probably you've been hit with this other question 100 times. I have the feeling that we may end up with the mask mandate in the state of Connecticut or whatever. I don't know. Are we prepared for that?
In what respect?
Well, I'm very much in favor of it because of the Delta variant. But I've encountered a number of people who, are going to refuse to do it if it is mandated.
Well, Dave, I think that's why the State Department of Education and the Connecticut Department of Public Health are taking some time to think about the communication and to provide superintendents with support for what we should do if and when that happens. So right now, I'm just waiting to hear what the decision is, and that will dictate a lot about what the next steps will be.
Okay, thank you. I just don't want us, I think we've done such a great job. I just don't want us to be looked at as the enemy.
Yeah.
But
I mean, if your question, Dave, also is, are we prepared to pivot to that? Just based on conversations that, Stephanie and I and Lisa have had regarding our opening, we're prepared to pivot to it if that's what's handed to us. We're sort of anticipating a less restrictive environment in the building come fall, but we're prepared to go back to what worked last year so well,
I mean, if the state says we have to come back to school with masks, that's what's going to be expected of me to do. And I'll have to communicate with parents and certainly hear what they have to say, but the decision may not be one that I get to make. So I'm not comfortable saying any more about that until I really understand what the state's expectations are.
Okay. Thank you.
Lisa, I just had one question about the clinic, and that would be that where I'm assuming that we'll also host to offer the second dose of the Pfizer.
Yes, the second dose will be on September. The second clinic will be on September 2nd.
Okay, got it. That's all I had. Anybody else? Hearing none. Thank you, Lisa. Dr. Fellows, Ms. Pace.
So go ahead, Jill.
Okay. Our report was really brief, but we'll just reiterate our appreciation. Thank you so much for hosting the summer learning program. We closed up shop a week and a bit ago, 2 weeks ago, I guess at this point. And it really was a wonderful program and very well received. We're we've surveyed the parents, we surveyed the kids, we surveyed the staff, and universally, almost everyone was really pleased with the program. Everyone felt it was supportive of students' social emotional needs, and there's lots of kids, parents, and staff who, when asked what the best thing of the program was, said all of it. So that's a nice place to land. It was wonderful and really supportive, and all results seem to indicate that if we offered the same thing next year, we would have a lot of takers on that. So we are really, really appreciative of your support in hosting and being our site. It was great, and we really appreciate your staff working with us to support that effort.
It's terrific. I was hoping, Jill, you had all of it. Our
I
favorite.
do, but then I was like, I probably shouldn't hold, but it's so cute.
But it doesn't have a name on it, right?
No, it does not. The best thing was all of it. Which is true. All of it was the best thing. They had a wonderful and productive time. So
fantastic. Lisa mentioned our Besser grant. So we're working on that starting in earnest, starting tomorrow, putting it together. The initial allocation for Salisbury was $49,662, but the most recent allocation is now $69,841. So I'll be in touch with Stephanie at some point about how we're going to spend or allocate that additional $20,000, which is great. And part of it has to be spent on learning recovery. So we'll make sure that that is included. You may have gotten a survey from us about the things that people wanted to spend the money on. We've gotten a ton of responses back, almost, to Jill's point, almost universally positive about the things that the principals, the administrators, and the boards have said that we should be spending the money on to get kids ready to come back to school in September. So we're going to use that data as well in those grant applications. And I guess we'll take any questions.
I believe in that the reason it was so successful was because of all the people that were involved in it. So I'll go with all of it. Well,
any questions, comments, observations, jokes for Jill and Scott? No? Hearing none. Thank you very much, the two of you, for the wonderful work. And I'm very glad that the summer program went well. I look forward to that building and growing. I think it's just another great opportunity also just to mix student bodies and mix communities and, have kids see something outside their normal circle, so.
that was one of the things that came out loud and clear, actually, David, was kids feeling like they made lots of friends, they met new friends, they want to see their new friends. And I think particularly after the year we've had, that was really important, and that stood out to kids and parents. So, yay.
Good. Thank you very much. Next item is any other public comment on agenda items this evening? Hearing none. I would certainly entertain a motion to adjourn. Thank you, Natalia. Thank you, Jackie, for a second. Any discussion about that? Hearing none. All those in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Opposed, abstaining. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a great summer evening. Have a great rest of the summer. I'll see you guys in September. Unless we have to have a special meeting about contracts. I hold that right. Bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, David.
Bye.
Thank you,
Enjoy.
everybody.
And we have to come up with a Pittsburghian something. We have to come up with something. Like there's a Brooklynite, right? There's a
Pirate, Pittsburgh Pirate.
Yeah, a piratite. That's
David, you just have to Google it. It says they're Pittsburghers, apparently.
Oh, really? That's just so lame, though.
I know. Well, I know. But if you want to change, you got to go to Google.
Yeah.
Have a good night.
Bye, guys.
We'll
Good
see
night.
you.